Type 2 diabetes, which rises in lockstep with obesity, is skyrocketing. In 1958, 1.6 million Americans had diagnosed diabetes. The population of the US has doubled since then, so at the same incidence of disease, you might expect 3 to 4 million cases today. But the actual number, 37 million. An additional 96 million have prediabetes. 20% of our children are pre-diabetic. Type 2 diabetes is caused by the animal food-rich Western diet. Why does meat eating cause diabetes? Here are at least 3 reasons. First, obesity and overweight increase diabetes risk, and eating meat can make you fat. Second, when glucose transport into muscle cells is blocked by fat, the glucose is left stranded in the bloodstream. This is known as insulin resistance. The fattier the diet, the more insulin resistance. Third, animal fat and heme iron found in meat have been found to damage pancreatic cells. According to the Nurses' Health Study, increasing red meat intake by more than just half a serving per day was associated with a 48% increased risk of diabetes. And so the answer to type 2 diabetes is the exact same answer to heart disease. A low-fat, whole foods, vegan diet. The more we learn about autoimmune disease, the more central we understand the role of the gut to be. And what creates a healthy gut is a diet high in fiber and unpolluted by chemicals metabolized from animal foods. This study showed that a vegan diet with a high intake of fruits and vegetables and the elimination of animal products protects against the development of autoimmune conditions. And so the same diet protects us against autoimmune disease. Dr. Campbell's The China Study explains how animal protein itself acts as a carcinogen. There are no studies anywhere in the medical literature that finds any animal foods to be anti-carcinogenic, whereas there are mountains of studies of plant foods that are found to be anti-carcinogenic. Antioxidants are found almost exclusively in plant foods. One of the potent cancer-causing compounds in dairy is casein, a milk protein. Another is insulin-like growth factor 1. Remember, our endocrine systems did not evolve under the influence of ingested lactation hormones from other species. This is a relatively modern stupidity. And so we know what protects against cancer: antioxidants, fiber, and a low-fat diet. There are essentially no antioxidants in animal foods, no fiber, and almost all animal foods are high fat. The anti-cancer diet is going to be the high fiber diet, rich in antioxidants, full of colorful foods. That's plants, not animals. Beyond all the scientific studies, there's a lot we can deduce from the growing movement of doctors who have discovered on their own, no thanks to their medical education, that they can effectively treat their patients and improve their health by advocating a plant-based diet. And so the experience of thousands of independent-minded doctors helps prove the case against eating animals. This is my friend, Dr. Steve Lewenda. That's the same guy. Steve went to medical school where he was taught nothing about nutrition. He himself was overweight and pre-diabetic. He was unfulfilled in his early years as a family doctor because he didn't feel that he was helping anyone. He prescribed the medicines that he was taught to prescribe, and his patients would come back fatter and sicker and needing to have their medications adjusted. And he'd do so and give them medications for the side effects of the medications that he'd already prescribed. The whole experience was depressing because nothing ever worked. He told me of one patient he was particularly proud of, who took his statin drugs religiously and got his cholesterol way down. And Steve thought, finally, I've helped one guy. But then that guy died of a heart attack with much improved cholesterol numbers. Then, while they were on a road trip, Steve's wife, Patty, played an audiobook about the plant-based diet. Steve thought, this must be hokum, because surely if you can improve your health so much with diet, someone would have mentioned it in medical school. But he reluctantly agreed to go along with his wife's plan to eat this way for a week or two and see what happens. When he lost a lot of weight and felt great, he decided to keep the experiment going. Now, many years later, he wouldn't call it an experiment, he'd call it a lifestyle. He lost 70 pounds and improved all his blood work immensely. He also incorporated the lessons he learned into his practice. And now he asks his patients about their diet. He encourages a plant-based diet. And now he reverses type 2 diabetes in his patients, and he helps them lose weight and get healthy. His work has become immensely meaningful and satisfying. He learned, in short, to do his job correctly, and he excels at it now, and he sponsors lifestyle change programs at his Kaiser Hospital to help people transition to a plant-based diet. And he's one of many. The American College of Lifestyle Medicine includes primary care physicians, researchers, professors, nutritionists, nurses, health coaches, and many others. The Plantrition Project is starting in 2022, Plantrition University, to provide free virtual nutrition education to future healthcare professionals. So there's a movement of tens of thousands of doctors and healthcare professionals who have seen the light and have begun to practice plant-based medicine. But there is not, thankfully, an equal and opposite movement of legions of doctors who are practicing butter and bacon-based medicine. Why is that? I mean, if that stuff was good for you, given the fact that Americans seem to love eating these foods, surely there would be a growing movement of doctors saying, hey, just double down on the beef. But all the momentum is on the side of plant-based nutrition because that's where doctors like Steve are seeing real results with their patients. And yes, doctors want their patients to be healthy. Once they get some nutritional education, as Steve will tell you, many doctors get a little bit angry when they ask, how come we were never taught about this? And so there is no serious scientific debate about the optimal human diet. It is a whole foods, low-fat, plant-exclusive diet without oils or sugar or processed foods, period. No legitimate controversy, only contrived controversy. Contrived usually by people who want to make money by exploiting our culture's reluctance to stop eating what their parents fed them.